Hey everyone, Brew here with another Racial Legends video. Guys, today we're gonna go through Nethril. He's an undead horse attack-based legendary champion. I've got him fully maxed out. I've got his gear to 16 every single piece, and we're gonna go through gameplay in the arena. You're gonna see how Nethril is when he's fully maxed, and if he's worth it for you to take him to 60, level his skills, and level his masteries to full. Guys, before we get to the video, please consider to subscribe to my channel. I know you see my videos every single day probably because of suggestions, because you watch other YouTubers, but subscribing to the channel really helps me out. So please subscribe, and yeah, let's get to the video. Nethril, Undead Hordes. First of all, let's look at his reviews, because he's got 1,700 reviews right here, so it's probably correct. So the clan boss 4.9, arena offense 4.8, spider, campaign location, Fire Knight, Dragon's Lair, arena defense, all above 4. So there's a lot of people who think this champion is a 5 rating. And the reason is, we're going to go through his skills later and see. But first of all, his gear, guys. Of course, it's going to be a lifesteal set. I do not have a good healer, such as a bad elf for the clan boss. So lifesteal set is a must if you want to take this champion to the clan boss. So of course, 4 pieces of lifesteal and then another 2 pieces that are heavily invested in defense. And the reason is, guys, because this champion is an attack-based champion, I need a lot of defense. And the only way to get a lot of defense is to get defensive primaries on your gloves and chest, and if you can, get it on the boots as well. I couldn't, but at least I got a lot of speed through 45 speed being a 6-star boost primary, and also some defense in the substat. And if you see my other items, guys, these are 60% defense and 50% defense on the gloves. This would have been ideal to be 60%, but those just do not drop for me. If you're gonna look on my other pieces though, look at this helmet right here. These are resistance set, but because it has 18% as a substat, this is a very good item for me. So I use this and do not use a 2-piece set right here. And of course, I have a lifesteal shield right here with 10% defense. So this is great. Overall, guys, I try to focus on getting defense on every single piece of gear, on my ring, on my amulet, and on my banner. Through the substats, the banner of course has an accuracy primary. So overall his stats look something like this: 33,000 health. It would be ideal to get this close to 40, but okay, it's there where it is. 33,000 health, 3.7k defense, 172 speed, so he's faster than my skull crusher. Critical rate is 26%, critical damage 131%. I'll try to get this higher for him to do more damage, but for now, of course, it is what it is. So accuracy 237, that's good. It's always better to have over 220 for Nightmare. So this was his gear. Let's look at his skills. Of course, his skills are where he really shines because of his A1. His A1 attacks one enemy 3 times. So of course, he's gonna be Giant Slayer, but attacks one enemy 3 times, has a 30% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. So think about that, guys. There's a chance for his 3 hits to apply a poison for each of the hits. So 3 5% poisons at a 50% chance plus 5% chance for Masteries, so 55% chance each time he hits with his basic attack, basically. So this is a great skill, especially when you have a counterattack set up, because he's gonna counterattack and then he will apply those poisons on the boss. So this is very good. And then his A2, attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance of placing a stun debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Place a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns if the target is not under a stun debuff. This is great for the dungeons and the arena, guys, and the reason is you want to stun those enemies because those enemies do a lot of damage, and if you have champions like a Cold Heart or a Royal Guard, those are going to be built for damage and not for survivability, so they're going to die if the enemies are not stunned. So this one helps a lot with stunning, of course. And then let's look at his A3. So attacks all enemies, decrease the perimeter by 75%. So this is similar to what Razin has, but Razin is basically he fully depletes the perimeter. So this is very good. A 4 turns cooldown, 75%, a decrease in the perimeter, and also an attack. So yeah, this is very nice. I haven't tested out Nethril, to be honest, using a full attack set. I know that he can clear the campaign, but I don't want to try it. I already have 2 farmers for the campaign. I have Bellower and I also have my Saurus. So yeah, I don't need another one. I only use Nethril for the clan boss. Sometimes in the dungeon, sometimes in the arena. So guys, let's look at his masteries now. So his masteries, of course, I went for Giant Slayer right here. Giant Slayer, I went for Kill Streak because I use him in dungeons and the arena sometimes. The reason for Giant Slayer is because his A1 is a 3-hit attack. Giant Slayer overall throughout the fight is gonna proc more than if he had a 2-hit or a 1-hit attack. So 1-hit or 2-hit attack, usually we go War Master. Kill streak, of course, adds a benefit to the champion if there's kills throughout the rounds. Of course, bring it down. Life drink here for the lifesteal and the extra bit of damage through the other skills. Those are basic necessities for a clan boss champion, clan boss masteries on a champion. So support tree, I went for accuracy, no masteries on turn meter increase because I do not want to mess up my speed order with the Skull Crusher. So this is why I went for full accuracy up to here, and then I did not go for Lore of Steel. Usually I like to take a Lore of Steel for that extra bit of accuracy sometimes, or speed, or whatever the 2-piece set I have. But for this one, because I had a broken set and I knew I wasn't going to replace it anytime soon, I just went for Evil Eye and Cycle of Magic. Cycle of Magic is going to decrease the cooldowns of my skills, although I do not need it because my Nethril mostly, my Nethril's damage is mostly through his A1. I saw no benefit in getting, for example, Cycle of Violence or maybe Wrath of the Slain. These will not benefit me in the offense tree, so I went for this because I also use him in the dungeons. It's good when you reset your skills, do that extra bit of stun or decrease the turn meter of the enemies. So yeah, that's always great. Evil Eye, it's not that great as a single target as if it was on a single target champion, but because he does an AoE, it's good, reduces 5% to all enemies. And Evil Eye, I like it because it reduces turn meter on a single hit. It works great in the dungeons, it works great in the arena. So I always like Evil Eye, even though use Nethril like 80% for clan boss and 20% for the other areas. Master Hexer, I think, is a must, and the same thing with Sniper. Because his skills are not all 100% chance to apply, I like to get Sniper, and I also like Master Hexer for that extra bit of chance to make those debuffs last for one more turn. It means more damage, basically. Enough with the talk, guys. So the first one I'd like to go would be the arena. Let's go versus this Gorgrab team. I'm gonna replace here, just gonna place my Nethril in there. I'm gonna show you how it basically works. So Arbiter gives a boost of speed. Venus applies defense down and weaken. That's very nice. Decrease the turn meter here. They're almost dead, but here there's no way for them to do anything. Apply the stun. There we go. Imagine if I had actual arena gear on my Nethril. He stunned Razin, so there's nothing the enemy can do. So next up, of course, I'm not gonna show you the dragons because dragons 20 is magic, so he's gonna have he's gonna be weak affinity. Yeah, I'm gonna show you Fire Knight because Nethril is a 3-hit attacker. Fire Knight works great for him. So let's find Nethril. Here, instead of having Royal Guard, I can actually go for another 3-hitter. For example, I could go for Apothecary, get Cold Heart in there. I like her extra bit of utility that she gives for the Fire Knight. So let's go, and you'll see how Nethril helps with handling the waves. So Cold Heart does her a bit of damage. Yeah, you see 5 people get stunned from Nethril. And I have the chance to just do a lot of damage on every single one. Now reduce the turn meter. The Arbiter is there to just boost everyone's speed all the time. When their speed is boosted, they get more turns, their cooldowns are reduced, so they can have a chance to move again in the next turn, being round 2 or round 3. Of course, this setup works as a 5-person team. It's not one single champion that does the work. So if I didn't have Venus, this would take much longer because of how much utility she provides. But also look at that, 4 people are stunned there, and this is great because I can handle them. They are stunned, they lose their turn, so there's no way for me to basically lose any of my characters in this fight. Even if I do lose them, Arbiter is gonna be there to revive, so pretty easy. So you see all those poisons, HP burns, they do a lot of damage. Cold Heart doing her thing. Arbiter there just boosting. So another stun. There we go. 1 minute 34. Not bad, guys. For Fire Knight, As you guys know, Fire Knight is very troublesome once you reach to the boss because you need to get that shield down as soon as possible. So the shield is down through Nethril. We get that counterattack help, which is good because of Skull Crusher. The good thing is I had my Cold Heart actually do her Thermite reduction, so that's great timing. If we get a heal reduction also, that would be great. This is all on auto, of course, guys. There it is. The heal reduction is going to help a lot once the boss now takes his turn because he won't actually heal. There you see, 0 heal. And then the bad thing is that my counterattack buff did not last, so I need to get my hits in. There we go. I'm getting lucky with the Heartseekers actually. It doesn't usually work like this. But you see all those poisons, once the boss takes a turn, he's going to get hit with all the poisons that both my Venus and my Nethril apply through their basic attacks. There we go, nice. So the boss is now going to attack, everyone is going to counterattack and remove his shield. But anyway, he was dead. 3 minutes and 3 seconds, I want to say. 3 minutes 5. Yeah. Very nice. We got some legendary boots. Let's check these out. Attack flat. Yeah, it's flat. So even if it's immunity, I'm gonna sell it. So that was a good round. 3 minutes for the Fire Knight. It's great, especially if you have the champions that can have a synergy, a good synergy. So Nethril there actually showed how important it is to stun the enemies because if he wasn't for Nethril, I would be attacked by all the enemies all the time. So I'm going to use Razin here instead of Venus. Razin applies a decreased defense and a weaken with his A2 as well. He also has a very good A1. It's a 3-hit attack, so he works great with Nethril. Nethril is going to be my Soul Poisoner now for the clan boss. So let's go in and see how much damage he does as a Soul Poisoner with counterattack buff on as well. So let's go in. So the way the Thermite works here is everyone is going to do their skills. Counterattack buff is on them, so everyone is gonna do their A1 when the turn comes. So Nethril is gonna start stacking up those poisons. And he's gonna be the only poisoner for this team. So guys, I'm gonna skip this to the end. You know the drill, the counterattack, how it works. It's every single time that the boss does an AoE attack, you're gonna have a counterattack buff on your team. So they're gonna be doing their basic attacks, applying those Giant Slayers, applying those War Masters, applying poisons for Nethril, and doing what their basic attack does for Razin, for example, where he removes a buff, and for Tyrell, he also applies a decreased attack. So let's skip to the end. So guys, my run is coming to an end. It's about 7.3 minutes. So I think this is gonna be about 25 million damage on the clan boss. I can't be certain, but you're gonna see my Tyrell has died. You're gonna see the rest of the remaining team just starting to die. So that's where I expect my damage to be, about 25 million. And as you can see, Nethril is just applying poisons like crazy. There were times he had about 7 poisons up on the boss, which is the ideal to have 7 poisons on the boss. So here we see Grizzled Jar also dying, so my decreased attack is gone. I don't have a decreased attack champion. There's no way for me basically to survive the hits now from the clan boss. But Nethril is just keep applying his poisons. And Skull Crusher is down, 8 minutes. See all these poisons on the clan boss. Crash through and it's over. 8.3 minutes. 8.5 minutes. So 23.27 million. As you can see, guys, Nethril did 11.5 million damage. He's a great as a soul poisoner for a team. This team could have been much better if this was not a weak affinity. It was a weak affinity for Grizzled Jar and Tyrell, so their damage was reduced, their chance to apply their debuffs was reduced. So decreased attack was not constantly on the boss, decreased attack was not during the end. So if it was going for much longer, then the team would survive much longer. What are your thoughts on Nethril? How do you build him? Have you built him differently? Do you use more critical rate on him, critical damage, for him to do way more damage through his skills on the clan boss, in the arena, in the dungeons? What are your thoughts, guys? Leave a comment down below. Like the video, of course, subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe for more Raid Shadow Legends videos. And of course, guys, I'll see you in the next one. See ya!